welcome to our final practice of our Grounded at Home Day retreat. So this is our yin practice. Of course, this might not be your final practice. Like I've said earlier, you can do them in any order you like. Maybe you just felt like you needed some yin first, and that's what you've chosen. So just for those who might not have much knowledge of what yin is, if it's quite new to you. So in yin yoga, yin yoga comes from the Chinese meridian system and Taoism, so it's not from India, it's not like that type of yoga, although a lot of the poses are the same. So you hold the poses for, it can be anywhere between 1 minute and 10 minutes, but usually you'll find they're about 3 to 5 minutes, and that's what we'll be doing today. So don't want you to think that's going to be too hard or anything, because you're not holding it to your full level. You'd only do it to about 70% maximum of your range, so you still want to feel like there's some kind of sensation going on there, but nothing that you couldn't hold for a while. And just by holding the pose in that kind of level of intensity for anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes, targets areas that you wouldn't normally be able to target in a regular yoga class or any kind of movement class like that. So it targets your connective tissues, so your fascia, which is like a web that's wrapped around everything in your body, your muscles, your bones. It's inside, it's outside, it's everywhere. You'll target your joints, your ligaments, your tendons, any of those connective tissues. And it's not so much about stretching them, it's about keeping the fluidity up in them, keeping them being able to kind of slide past each other, so that in turn helps your mobility and just your general way that you can practice other movements. So it's really good to keep your body hydrated and keep it feeling nice and free. So yeah, it's about freedom, finding freedom in your body. But it's also in a way like a meditation, because you are holding these poses for a while and you're just left with your body and your breath. So it's about kind of checking in, getting to know your body, connected to your breath. But you should leave hopefully feeling nice and relaxed afterwards. So today's practice is of course a grounding one. In yin you want to be cozy, so stick a jumper on, I've got socks on. You know, keep yourself nice and cozy, because we are being still for a while and the body temperature can drop. I have got props. You do not need to have any of these props, you can just use things at home, but just so you let you know what I've got a Boulster, I've got a cozy blanket for, you know, the end when we're coming down into Shavasana, and I've got a kind of thinner blanket for sitting up on, but that can just be a cozy blanket as well, and I've got 2 blocks, yoga blocks. If you don't have any of these, you can use pillows, cushions, just your normal blankets. If you need blocks, books, things like that. So if you need to pause the video and grab whatever you have that you think you might be helpful for your practice, and then we'll make a start. So we're going to start standing, which is kind of unusual for a yin practice, but I just wanted to start us off standing, and then we'll make our way down towards the floor and end lying down ready for Shavasana. So it's going to be called dangling pose, which is pretty much a forward fold. So the reason I'm getting my bolster ready here is because if you have a bolster at home, this can come in really handy for this pose. Now, when I stand up, it's going to cut my head off, so I'm just going to demonstrate on my knees, but you will be standing up. So first off, you can take your feet mat width apart, you can take them hips width distance apart, maybe a little bit wider than that. Find the stance that works for you, and then you will literally just fold down. But in yin, we don't want any muscle activation, so you're going to let your back round, your shoulders hang heavy, the crown of your head come down towards the floor. We won't be holding this one for too long, because it is quite a lot and it can be quite intense in the back of our legs. So if you have a bolster, you could use that to just stand upright and then have your head coming down onto it like so. Or if you have blocks or maybe piled up books, cushions, you can use them to help you raise the floor as well. It's just something to come down on. But yeah, you really want to just let yourself hang down here. As much of a bend in the knees as you need. Okay, I'm going to get myself set up and I will join you here in our dangling pose. So the first 30 seconds or so of a yin pose is always spent just playing about, finding what works for you. I mean, I know personally my hamstrings have been quite tight the past couple of days just with what I've been up to. So I know that I definitely want my Boulster because I don't want to be hanging down too low. Let your hands fall heavy. Might be nice to grab opposite elbow. And we'll just do a couple minutes here because it can be quite a lot in the back of the legs, or maybe any other areas that you might find if you can feel sensation in. Check in with your body straight away. Notice how it feels in this pose. There might be tightness coming up that you didn't even know that you had. It's our first pose, so it's normal for your mind to still be wandering and to be quite fidgety because, you know, we're still just getting into the kind of mood of settling in and tapping into that relaxation. So hopefully by the end of class you might notice that your fidgeting stopped or your mind's not wandering just as much. You're able to really settle into the poses a bit more. Let's do one more minute here. So it'd be nice to just connect with your breath. If you want to at any point in the class take a releasing breath out through your mouth and go ahead. It can be really nice in the yin practice. And let's all actually do that now in our final few seconds. Take a big inhale in, fill up your belly. And exhale out your mouth. Nice. Come back to your normal rhythm of breath. And on your next inhale, slowly push yourself back up, nice and slow. Our heads were hanging for a while there. If you need to stomp your feet, have a little wiggle out, just to get the blood flowing again, go ahead. We're going to come straight down into a squat position. So again, squats are some people's nemesis pose. I know it is actually one of my nemesis poses. So I'm going to sit on my Boulster. If you have cushions and pillows, sit up on them. If you want something underneath your ankles, maybe like a rolled up sock or something might be nice if you need that. So again, because it's yin, so in a normal yoga class, you know, would be really focusing on pushing the knees out and raising the chest up. But because it's yin, you can let your hands come down, you can let your back around. Pile up your props as much as you need. Okay, I don't want anybody to be in the pose and feeling like, oh my god, when's she gonna say this is over, or just like just not doing it at all because it's too much. I want you to play around with what you have at home, and then even if after you've done that it still feels like too much, then yeah, you can come down. Maybe take a butterfly, and just with your knees together and your hips out wide. That's still going to get an opening in your hips. Or find whatever other pose works for you. But for those of us who feel good here, then you can round your spine. Let your head hang. Again, we won't be here too long. These are just our first two kind of poses. And then once we get down towards the ground, we'll begin to hold them for a lot longer. Our squat pose is such an important one for grounding and for connecting to our root chakra, like we done in our meditation. Because as I had said to you before, read about the root chakras in our other classes. You know, by being in this pose, we're really tapping into that area. And a long time ago, we would have all have been able to hold this pose so easily. It was like a natural kind of position. But now, just the way that our lifestyles have changed and with evolution in that way, just sitting down so much more and just completely different lifestyles and just not being in the habit of doing something like this. Most of our hips do not like it. I know that mine don't. I've been doing yoga for a good few years now, quite continuously, and I still am not a fan. But just remember as well, it might just be your own bone structure. Everybody has different bone structure, everybody has different bodies. So if you're feeling maybe some compression here, so kind of more like a bone on bone rather than a muscle, that might be your call to back away, because that's never going to change. You can force yourself into pose as much as you can, but you're never going to be able to change your bones. So I know I love a child's pose, but I do feel that bone on bone compression from around my femur and my pelvis and here. So check in, scan your body. Again, there's such a good way to just get to know our bodies. Maybe noticing things we hadn't noticed before. And we've just got about 50 seconds left here. So just focus on your breath. Maybe visualizing sending your breath down towards your hips, sending them that energy. Again, we'll take that full inhale in whenever you're ready. And exhale it out. Really releasing and letting everything go. And your next inhale, use your hands to slowly help yourself lift up. Slide your knees in closer together. It might feel quite intense on the hips. And come down to take a seat. I'm going to take a rebound pose here. So when you're in a rebound, it's just like a kind of pose or a movement that you can take to just help everything kind of move around in your body again after where it's been holding. Just like the blood and liquid flow back into the areas that might have been a bit compressed. And really just feel into the effects of the pose. So your options here for your squat are either to find a tick-tock. You might feel like a little bit of movement might be good, so just hands behind you, tick-tocking your knees side to side, or you can bring your knees in, wrap your hands around, let your back round, head down towards your knees, and give yourself a hug here. Or if there's another pose that feels good for you, you can always take that. Always options to just lie down in Shavasana for a little bit in between your poses as well. So we'll just take a few more seconds here. Just really feeling into our bodies and the effects of those past two postures that we've done. So our next pose is going to be caterpillar. So if you have a folded up blanket or a cushion, this might be nice to sit up on. This will help you be able to find a longer spine and be able to maybe come a little bit deeper into your pose. So if you are sitting up on one, which I would recommend, just move this out of the way, have it so you literally feel like you're about to fall off it. So we're not fully sitting up. This will be easier with a blanket. If you're on a cushion, then you can just kind of try and sit near the edge of it. But if you're on a blanket, slide yourself down so that you're almost falling off. So normally in a forward fold like this, we would have everything flexed, but in yin, no muscle activation. It's passive postures. So you have your bolster or a couple pillows, maybe like your buns from your bed would be good here. You can either fold them out long to fold down or bring them across the body and round your spine around to really just let everything hang down. Or you can take your legs out a little bit wider if you have blocks and prop yourself up on your blocks, finding whatever. So if you are somebody who really enjoys forward folding and you feel like you can naturally just get quite deep, then go for it, but don't be pushing yourself into the fold. Sometimes it's nice to go with a lesser version to start with, and then as you start to relax into the pose and feel your body open up a little bit more, then you can start to maybe take it a little bit deeper, maybe slide a prop out of the way and take the final minute or so in a slightly deeper version. So find what works for you. I'm going to go with my bolster across my body. I'm going to sit up tall and then round my spine around the bolster, that my hands come down wherever they want to fall and the head hangs. Again, you're allowing your shoulders to just roll forward, your back to round, your feet to be heavy. No activation at all. Yin yoga is all about releasing and letting go. A forward fold like this, you might be feeling sensations in a lot of different parts of your body. It might be a stretch in your back, along the back of your legs. So just scan down your body, start at the crown of your head. And just notice if there is anywhere you might still be holding tension. So quite often it can be in our face and we don't even notice. Like our jaw, or eyes, or eyebrows, or forehead. You can quite often have some gripping and holding tension there. And we do it so much that we don't even realise. So use your exhale to let that all relax down. It might be in your shoulders, your neck, your hands, you might be holding in your hands. Again, use your exhale to relax down into your fold, into your props. Take that down to your hips, your legs, your feet. Allow them to melt down into the floor beneath you. 2 more minutes here. You may already be feeling a little bit more open. You might like to try and go a little bit deeper. Or it might be feeling like it's getting a little bit much. You might like to maybe add in a prop or just back away a little bit. Readjust yourself. You're not stuck in the pose that you choose at the beginning. You can move and readjust. And our final 30 seconds now. Use every exhale to release deeper. Relax deeper. And let go into the fold. Nice. And on your next inhale, slowly use your hands to walk yourself up, taking your time. Slide your prop out the way. And slowly come forward into all fours. So your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips. Our back was really rounded there, so we're just going to take a cow. So arch your spine, let your gaze come forward. And have a little wiggle up your hips. Maybe gaze over one shoulder and then the other. Might just like to just roll through a few cat-cows in a kind of intuitive way. Just wiggling around in it. Nice. So keep going back for as long as you like with that. And our next pose is child's pose. So child's pose is one of those poses that I spoke about this in slow flow class, that a lot of people love and is like their favorite yoga pose, and they will just take it whenever. But it's also for some people not a great pose, and that can be just dependent on your bone structure, like I said before, or just the general tightness of your hips or your shoulders even. So because this is generally want to be supported, so my go-to would be to have your big toes together, knees out wide, and I would slide my bolster down in between my legs and fold on down like so. If you have a bolster or you're using multiple like bed pillows, then you're somebody who feels like their hips are normally sitting up a bit higher in a child's pose, maybe try just sliding it through in between your legs so you're sitting up on your pillows or your bolster. Slide these out of the way so you can see me a bit better. And then come on down and use blocks, books, more pillows, blankets, whatever for your head. And come down onto the side, or you can just rest your head down. Or just use your pillows, your blocks, anything you have to either raise your hips or raise your head. So I'm just going to come down to this position. Now, I can already feel my temperature dropping from being still like this. So if you have a fluffy cushion, this can also feel nice just because it's like a little bit of weight. And I mean, if you have a weighted blanket, even better. it's just like a little bit of weight, and it's kind of like quite comforting. If I can even get my blanket sorted here, just kind of put it over the top of you, and then come on down into your child's pose. So if you're in a position like this, just bring one ear down to the side, and then halfway through we'll switch sides. This is such a good pose to close down your eyes in if you feel comfortable enough to, and really just settle in. You might just like to wrap your arms around your bolster like you're giving it a hug. Check in with your shoulders here. Make sure that they're not like trying to be earrings, hugging up into your ears. Use an exhale to let them relax down. Don't force them down, just let them slide back into their natural positioning. So it's naturally built in us that a child's pose will calm and regulate our nervous system. It tells our brain that we are safe. So this might be the kind of turning point pose in this practice. Being in it, really, you might notice that you're really starting to settle into the practice. So just allow yourself to melt down into whatever props you're using. You might not be using any. You might be really comfortable in child's pose and just be just down on the mat. And just keep coming back to your breath. If you're somebody who's on one ear, then switch sides. Take your head the other way. It'll be whatever way feels weird for you. This is not your natural way. Just to help even everything out. And we're embracing the weirdness of it. Accepting, not judging, not comparing, just being. Check in with your hips at this point. You've been in this pose for a while. Do you feel like you're starting to feel a sensation? It's getting a bit deeper, it's getting a bit stronger. Just breathe into them. Just keep focusing on allowing them to relax as much as you can. Because as the sensation might get a bit stronger, you might start to tense up a little bit. So just keep relaxing and breathing and letting the body know that it's all okay. Into our final 30 seconds here. So let's take a couple rounds of releasing breath to really help us melt down for the final 30 seconds. Whenever you're ready, take a full inhale in and exhale out your mouth. One more time, full inhale in and really let it all go. Nice. Whenever you're ready, slowly use your hands to bring yourself back up. Time. And come round. We're going to come down to lying on our back. So for our rebound, we're just going to give ourselves a nice big hug here. Just come down to lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest when you get there. And you might be feeling really good after that child's pose and you just want to be in stillness here. Or you might like to find some movement by gently rocking side to side. Maybe take your hands to your knees and draw some circles. Just find whatever's coming to you here. So we're going to come into a twist. So just keep your knees hugging in. In fact, don't do that. Bring your feet down. Pick up your hips, slide them over towards the right. Bring your knees back in and then let them come over to the side. So you had your folded up blanket or a pillow. This might be nice for underneath your head. If you need a bit extra support, grab more pillows, blankets, blocks, whatever you need for underneath your knees if you need to raise the floor a little bit. Or it might be nice to place something between your knees. Find whatever's right for you. I'm going to stick my blanket back on again. As like I said at the start, Yin is all about getting cozy. So once you've found your leg positioning, is your choice what you do with your arms. So you can have them out wide in a T. You can find cactus. You can have them up overhead. You can have one on your knee and then one out to the side. And if this feels like more than enough of a twist for a yin position, then just keep your gaze looking up. But if you feel like you could go a bit deeper here, take your gaze over to the opposite side. And you could always just start like this and then bring it back after you've had enough of that, or maybe start with your gaze up and then try it out, maybe going into a little bit deeper. But for a lot of us in a yin position, this is a decent enough twist. Once we've done both sides of this, we will be heading into Shavasana, so that's why I think it's nice just to get comfy, to already kind of get into that energy of Shavasana, already kind of getting ourselves set up for it. So close down your eyes. Maybe you have an eye pillow nearby, you might like to place that on. And just breathe. Twist can sometimes leave us holding our breath. Just really breathe down into your belly. Nice long inhales and exhales, but not forceful. And twists, people like to call them like detoxing, or like imagining you wringing out like a cloth, and that is like a good thing to think about. It's a good kind of image and something to visualize when you're in a twist. It can make it feel like you're doing something really good for your body, which of course you are, but it's not so much that it's a detox, you know. It's not doing this magical thing to your body, but what it is doing is causing a compression in your organs here. So like your kidneys and stuff, like those kind of organs that are in this kind of area of what you're twisting. It's causing a slight compression in them. So just like when we are in our normal yin poses and we're in a slight compression, and then we come out of them and do a rebound, and that allows all the blood and everything to run back to them. That's what happens when you come out of your twist. But because these are really like hard work functioning organs, when you come out of your twist and all the blood rushes to them, they're going to work more effectively for a little bit, because they're like, whoa, all this blood. They start working really hard. So that's where that kind of idea comes from, because if they're working hard, they're obviously going to do a bit better job. That's why twists can be really good for your digestion. If you're having any kind of digestion issues, I always find in a twist that my belly starts to rumble afterwards. But of course, it's also just good for your back and nice to keep your spine healthy, things like that as well. Just keep breathing and allowing every part of your body that's on the ground, touching your mat, touching your carpet, your floor. Allow every part of your body to melt down into it. Back of your head, shoulders, upper back, side of your hip, all along the side of your leg and your foot, back of your arm, hands. So 30 more seconds on this side and then we'll switch. On your next inhale, slowly bring yourself up. You might like to just take a little hug again in between, or you might like to bring your legs out wide and let your knees knock in together as a constructive rest pose. That might feel really good on your lower back. Sort out my blanket quickly here. Take a moment in whatever position feels good for you before we move over to the other side. Whenever you're ready, bring your feet back down. Wiggle your hips over to the left side. Pick your knees back up. And then allow them to drop over to the right. If you used props on the other side, grab them again. You might immediately notice a difference in this side compared to the last. So you might need to add a little bit more, or you might be able to take away. Your hand positioning might be different on this side. I know for me right now, this is already feeling like quite a stretch before I've even quite a twist before I've even put my hands out. Our bodies are not going to be symmetrical. There's always, we've all got our more dominant side that we use more, like if we're right-handed or left-handed, or I often notice in yoga there's one side I can balance on quite well if we're doing a balancing posture, but then there's one side I'm really, really wobbly, and that's the same for everybody. So when we're doing poses like this where we're doing one side and then the other, that ability to just kind of check in and notice without getting too stuck on the why or being annoyed by it or being judgmental towards it. Just notice it, accept it, and adjust as you need. Because this is our last side before Shavasana, I'm just going to be quiet and let you just really melt into the twist. Just keep focusing and breathing down and towards the belly. And let every muscle relax down and release. Whenever you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself back up. Nice and slow. Realign all your joints, so bring your hips back to center. And just before Shavasana again, you might like to find a hugging in knees, or your constructive rest position, letting your knees knock in together, or whatever feels good for you. And whenever you're ready, get yourself set up for Shavasana. So we've already got a cushion under our head maybe, or a blanket over us. So if you haven't grabbed them, get yourself nice and comfortable. Take your legs out. Take your legs out long. Take up space here, okay? So take your legs out wide. Let your hands come out wide, palms facing up. Allow your shoulders to melt down. Close down your eyes. If you have an eye pillow, it might be nice to put that on. Really get yourself comfortable here. And bring that grounded feeling that we have created during our yin practice into your Shavasana. Let's go through another couple releasing breaths to really help us settle in here. Just take a full inhale in and exhale out your mouth. Another big inhale in, fill up your belly, your lungs and your chest. And exhale out your mouth, release from your chest, your lungs, your belly. Let's do one more, the biggest one yet. Big inhale in, really biggest inhale you have taken all day, all retreat, the whole practice. And exhale it out and really let it all go. Empty all the air out of your lungs. Nice. Come back to your normal rhythm of breath. Release any tension from your forehead, from your eyebrows, from the space between your eyebrows. Relax your cheeks, your eyelids. Release any tension or gripping in your jaw. Allow your teeth to come apart, your tongue to come down from the roof of your mouth. Relax all the muscles in your face. Allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears. Allow them to melt down into the floor beneath you. Your arms and the back of your hands to relax down into the floor. Relax your upper back, your mid back, your lower back. Allow your belly to soften Whole upper body relaxed, fully supported by the floor beneath you. Release tension or gripping in your hips. Allow your legs and your feet to fall heavy. Allow your feet to flop out in whatever direction they want to go. Your whole lower body now relaxed and fully supported by the floor beneath you. And your whole body is relaxed. And melting down into your mat or the floor. Enjoy these next few moments here, fully relaxed in your Shavasana, grounded and supported. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Really noticing each inhale and exhale, rise and fall of your belly. To wriggle your fingers and your toes, bring a little bit of gentle movement back into the body. And take a full body stretch. Might be arms out wide or up and overhead, whatever feels good for you. And whenever you're ready, hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a big, well-deserved hug for not only taking this time out for your yin practice, but for doing this whole retreat. And roll over onto one side, whichever side feels comfortable for you. Just take a final moment here in your feeling of relaxation, peace, of stillness. Whenever you're ready, keeping your eyes closed if you can, slowly come up to a comfortable seated position of your choice. When you get there, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Take a full inhale in and feel into all the space you have made in your body during this practice. And as you exhale, bow your head down towards your hands, giving thanks to your body for everything it does for you, both on and off the mat, for dedicating this time to yourself and your well-being, and for the lineage of yoga and all its forms and all the past teachers. If you're ready, slowly bring your hands down to touch the floor in front of you. Spread your fingers wide and feel that connection to the earth. Slide your hands up your legs and bring your hands together, one on top of each other, on top of your heart space. Take a full inhale in. Exhale out. And blink open your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me for not only this class but the whole retreat. I really appreciate you choosing to share your practice with me in this way, allowing me to guide you through it. I hope you feel nice and relaxed and grounded and ready to get on with whatever you've got left of your day, or maybe this is a nighttime practice for you and you're just going to be going straight to bed. That would be lovely. And so drink water. If anything's came up for you in this whole retreat and it feels good for you, then maybe do some journaling about it. I do have some journal prompts in the PDF. There's some affirmations in there as well, and then a couple other little practices that you might like to do. But yeah, take your time getting up. Don't rush to go back into the world. Stay in your little bubble for as long as you need to. And thank you again for practicing. Look after yourself. And yeah, you should really appreciate and be really proud and grateful for yourself for really dedicating this time and taking this time for you. It's really important. Yeah. So thank you so much again, and I'll hopefully be able to practice with you again sometime soon.